Hello, 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 everyone. Come on into the webinar. My name is Linda Peavy, and I'm going to be your host for this evening, where we're going to talk about how you get grant money for your woman-owned business or your woman-led nonprofit. So as you come in, don't be shy, don't be shy. Say hello to me. Say hello to me. Give that city and that state a shout out. Let me know where you are coming in from. So give that city and that state a shout out and let me know where you are coming in from. The city and the state, the city and the state. I'm in the land, by the way. I'm in the land not too far from Cleveland, Ohio, where we were in a deep freeze, like 17 degrees a couple of days ago. And then a couple of weeks earlier, it was 80 degrees. So the weather's just been crazy. Hey, Jasmine from Detroit, the big D. And Carry On. Is it Carry On? From Etna, Texas, and Tamara from Victorville, California, and Katrina from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Sharon from Phoenix, Arizona. And look at Baton Rouge, Louisiana showing up. Phyllis is from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Lisa from Chi-Town, Chicago, and Letitia from Georgia, and Antoinette from West Haven, Connecticut, and Cicely from Alabama. The Bama is in the house. And happy holidays, everyone. Is it Anelli from Boykins, Virginia? And let's see, Marshawn from Riverside, California. And who else? Who else? Who else? We've got, this is Sherelle. Sherelle is from Alexandria, Virginia, the DMV area representing. And Vicky's coming in from Georgia. Carry On. Carry On is with us. And Gwendolyn. Hello, everyone. My name is Linda Peavy. I'm going to be your host for this evening, where we're going to talk about how you get grant funding for your woman-owned business or your woman-led nonprofit. And we're getting ready to get started because I have a lot of information to share. And this is like my last webinar of the year that is focused on women and what we need to do. And you really need to know this information as we move into 2025, because we don't know what's going to happen in terms of government entities being cut. And that always means grant funding, right, would be cut, because that's one of the first areas, but we don't know. So what we're going to do is get ourselves ready. We're getting ready to get ready for whatever 2025 brings to us, right? Because we're going to get ready to know how to write and research and get this free grant money so that we can place ourselves in the best possible position to flourish in 2025. We need to thrive in 2025, all right? As we say hello to Shanta from Norfolk and Diane from the ATL. Oh, Drusilla, you're from Bristol, Pennsylvania. I know exactly where that is. I used to live in Valley Forge. And let's see, Chanel from New Jersey. All right. So the first thing you're going to see is just like a little 30-second TV commercial, which will give you some idea of my background and how I'm able to help you. And then we're getting ready to get started because there's a lot of information that I want to fit in as we say hello to Susan from Phoenix and Jessica from Charleston, South Carolina. All right, now, as I share my screen, as I always say, because we're live, and anytime you deal with technology, it's like, oh, come through, technology, come through. All right. All right. It's looking good, looking good. All right. We're off to the races.
Hi, I'm Linda Peavy, owner of LaPav Consulting. My passion is to place your organization on the path to excellence. Are you struggling to communicate your message, reach target audiences, or secure funding? From marketing communications to grant writing, we achieve your goals. We've worked with high-profile clients and have secured $17 million in funding for charter schools and nonprofits. Call today to discuss what your success looks like and how LaPav Consulting can help.
Just some information about my background here. Let me make sure everybody's in the right place. So this is grant writing for women-owned businesses and women-led nonprofits. This is our 7 p.m. session. We were on at noon live, and we had such a good time, such great questions. And I know we're going to have a good time tonight as well. Now, my background. Yes, they call me the grants queen because I have secured over $17 million in grants in business development. And this is year 16 of me owning my company, LaPav Consulting. And every one of those years, I have been a professional grant writer. Let's see, my undergrad and graduate degrees are from the University of Akron. Go Zips, go Zips. And I do provide grant writing workshops all over the country for many different organizations, including Goldman Sachs, where I am a proud alumnus of their 10,000 Small Businesses program. And I'm also a member of Forbes Black, which is an organization of Black leaders affiliated with Forbes magazine. Now, I have a small business, but I want to know who's here with me today. Are you a nonprofit or a for-profit, meaning you're a small business, or maybe you're both? Let me know in the chat because I'm finding that really a lot of for-profits are opening up nonprofits and nonprofits are starting for-profits. So let me know if you're both or if you are a nonprofit or a for-profit. So let me know in the chat who is here with me tonight. Lots of for-profits, nonprofits though, coming in. Nonprofits, both. I see some boths. Excellent, excellent. Startup. Yeah, so I ask you this question right from the beginning so that you understand completely that there are grant opportunities for both. There are grant opportunities for your nonprofits and your small businesses, right? So that's key. And I know that may sound different, right? Because when you thought about a grant, what did you think about? A nonprofit. Everything is different now. So yes, there's grant money for nonprofits and for small businesses. All right. Now, how did I get here? I used to be a publishing executive in Pennsylvania, in that Valley Forge area. And I got hurt. When I got hurt, I had to move back home to Cleveland to recuperate. Literally came home in a wheelchair. Couldn't even stand. Took me 2 years to recuperate. And at the end of those 2 years, I couldn't find a job because my experience was in professional publishing. And if you know anything about Cleveland, you know that's not the publishing headquarters of the United States. So that's when I started LaPav Consulting, my company. And when I started, one of my first contracted positions was to be the executive director of a nonprofit. And I started the job, and I don't think I was there for 2 weeks before I was called into the board of directors office and told that I had to write a grant that would pay for my salary, thus saving my job, thus saving the organization. Now, I had never seen a grant before, had no knowledge of grants. But you know what? I did it. I did that research. I wrote that grant. I won that grant. It paid for my salary. It saved my job. It saved the organization. So yes, you can write grants with no experience, right? But also it let me know what you can do with grant money, right? Being able to open. Some of you have not yet opened or thrive or grow or hire help, right? I know you're tired of wearing all 20 hats, right? So that's just some of what you can do with grant money. We'll talk about this much more as we move through. Now, what else will we talk about? Why are we even here? Why is this class important? And then I will show you some grant basics. And then how do you prepare to apply for grants? And what do you write in an application? How do you write the application so that you're getting noticed in a sea of applications, right? And then I'm going to show you how to conduct grant research so that you're finding the organizations that align to your mission. And then don't go anywhere because I do have a list of available grant opportunities and a bonus surprise, and we're going to do a thorough Q&A. So speaking of Q&A, as we move through, drop your questions in the chat or the Q&A. You only need to do one or the other. And don't be shy. This is your opportunity. to ask a grants expert and a grants instructor your grant questions. All right, especially as we end up the year and we need to be ready in January, right? We need to be ready. All right, so don't be shy. Also, I'm here to help you. I'm truly here to help you. So you're going to get a copy of this replay for free. All right, so don't worry. I do go fast, but you will get the entire replay for free. You will have it tonight, right? And you will have it forever. I don't believe in charging for this information because I want you to come back to it again and again and again. All right, so don't worry. You'll get the replay tonight to your email. You'll have it forever and it will be free. All right, everybody ready? All right, let's go. Let's go. Now, why are we even here? Because as women, we need access to funding. As women leaders, we need access to funding. And guess what? It shouldn't always be about loans, right? It shouldn't always be about loans. Oh, I'm seeing some great questions already. Keep them coming. We want grant money because grant money is free to us. And guess what? I'm talking to all of you. You can do this. You can write grants. You don't have to be scared. Grant writing is not what it used to be. You're not sitting in some corner for 3 months at a time writing some 500-page document. I know because that's exactly what I used to do. Some of the grant applications now are 2 or 3 pages, right? So you can do this, but you need to know that there's a process. After having won over $17 million, there's a process. This is about more than you just writing an answer on a piece of paper and sending it off, right? There's a process to actually winning the grant, and that's part of what we will talk about today. All right. Now, why is there so much money available? Well, there have always been grant fundings available for nonprofits. That money is still coming predominantly from foundations, your family foundation, community foundation. But when COVID happened, small businesses started to go under at an alarming rate. So a lot of your major corporations and major organizations stepped in and said, we're going to start creating pools of grant money for small businesses. And that's what they did. And that money is still here. So you're in the right place, whether you are a nonprofit or a for-profit, there's grant money for you. All right. Now, I'm going to give you some grant basics. What do you need to know? Grants are not paid back. Full stop. Grants are not paid back, regardless of what you're seeing on social media. I see some really crazy, crazy information on social media. Now, for the next minute, I'm only talking to you nonprofits. Get your 501c3. Foundations are often mandated by their board of directors that they can only give their grant money to nonprofits with a 501c3. That's your tax exempt designation by the IRS. Now, the good news for you is that it used to take the IRS about 6 months to just process these applications. Now it's taking about 8 weeks. So get your 501c3, right? This is critical just for nonprofits, just for nonprofits. All right. I'm not talking to for-profits, just for nonprofits. Now, as we move through the rest of this presentation, I'm talking to everybody, nonprofits, for-profits, especially with this next slide. Everybody look at this slide. U.S. grant annual funding, foundation, corporation, and bequest giving. $189 billion. Billion would it be? Ladies, that's a lot of money. I don't want you to be overwhelmed, though. I don't want you to see that and think, oh my gosh, there's no way I can get any of it. Because at the end of the day, you just need what you need. You just need a little bit of this $189 billion, right? You don't need it all. So I want everybody right now into the chat to write, I just need a little bit, because I want you to focus on what you need, not this large number. I don't want you to be intimidated by this number and think, oh, like there's no way. No, you just need a little bit of this. You just need what you need, right? For your organization, right? That's what I'm talking about. Diane, Chanel, right? You don't need it all, Drusilla, do you? Cicely, do you need all $189 billion? Linda, will you accept a piece of this pie, right? Will you just take a little bit of the pie, Shawanda, or do you need it all? Right? You just need what you need. I want you to focus on what you need. Cicely says she'll take a piece. I want you to focus on just what you need, right? Don't be overwhelmed by that big number. That's good news. That's good news. I'm going to show you how you can get just a little bit, just a little bit, just what you need, right? Just what you need. All right. Now, but first, they call me the Grants Queen, and it's chilly here tonight. So I'm going to be giving you nice warm cups of tea. And this is the first cup. It is called Grammarly. Now, if you use Grammarly right now, give yourself some love in this chat. Right now, Grammarly. What is it? It is a free software editing tool. You download it onto your computer. You use it when you write your Word documents, your emails, Excel. It will make you a better writer. Why is this important? Because I don't want you submitting grant applications full of grammatical errors, not when you have a free program like Grammarly. And it doesn't matter how many letters you have behind your name. I'm a professional editor, professional grant writer, and a professional writer. I wouldn't write without Grammarly. And it's free. Download it onto your computer. No one's using Grammarly. If you use Grammarly, give yourself some love in this chat. Is anybody using Grammarly? So download it when we're done. That's your homework, right? It will make your writing easier. Easier. Phyllis uses Grammarly. Yes, Diane uses Grammarly. Letitia, it's fantastic, right? It's fantastic. All right. All right. And courtesy of Grammarly, make sure you download this article here. Improve writing skills dramatically by doing these 15 things. It's going to make you a better writer. I just don't want you submitting grant applications, right? Full of grammatical errors. We don't want that. All right. Now, what are we doing here? We are preparing. I'm preparing you to apply for grants. You also need to get your documents in order, your EIN, your employer identification number. Nonprofits, you need your 501c3. Now, you may need a state certification or what's called a business license. You need to check with your Secretary of State. I'm in Ohio. It differs by state. I'm in Ohio, I have a business. In Ohio, you need a business license to have a business, right? So again, depends on what state you're in. So just check with your Secretary of State, find out whether or not you need a state certification or a business license. Now, nonprofits, it is mandated that you have a board of directors. And no, they can't all consist of family and friends, but that's another webinar. So get a list of your board members. Now, if you are a for-profit, it's not mandated that you have a board, but as a nonprofit, yes. So get your list of board members together and any staff that you might have. All right. Now, letters of support. Let foundations know that there are organizations that support you. Get those letters of support. Who are you going to be asking? Could be politicians if you know them, or maybe community leaders, someone who knows about your work in the community. Could be your vendors, could be your pastor, could be the church. All right. Next, all of you need an operating budget. This is really critical, even you startups, because at the end of the day, you must know approximately how much money it's going to take for you to operate over the course of a year. And yes, you estimate here. It doesn't have to be completely accurate, but it will help you determine how much grant money you need. If you have an idea of how much overall money you're going to need to operate in the course of a year. All right. Financial documents. If you are currently operating, you need your financial documents, meaning your balance sheet and your P&L statement, which is your profit and loss statement. Some accountants call it an income statement. It's the same thing. Either an income statement or a P&L statement plus a balance sheet. That's if you're currently operating. All right. Now, I'm going to go through the typical grant application and give you best practices on how you write this grant. All right. The first section that you're going to see is called the summary abstract. These are the typical sections that you will see in a grant application, so you'll be ready. Whatever you do, don't be fooled. Now, you will see the summary abstract first, but you always write it last because you're going to write the application, then go back and start pulling out the most compelling components of the grant application and dump them into the summary abstract. This is the first impression that a foundation will have of your organization. So this section has to be tight. All right. All right. Next, mission statement. all of you should have a mission statement, whether you are a nonprofit or a for-profit, because your mission statement is going to send you to the organization that wants to give you funding, because you're going to align your mission to the mission of that foundation. All right. So if you are laser focused on maybe K through 12 education, you need to be seeking a foundation that has a passion for K through 12 education. And you don't change your mission statement based on what foundation you're seeking money from. No, no. You need to be finding foundations that align to your mission. All right. Because that defines who you are, what you do, your aims and your goals. And you all need one. So if you don't have a mission statement, that is homework 101. All right. Get that mission statement done. Now, the history section, just don't leave that section blank, even if you are a startup, because guess what? You have a history too. As a startup, what was the impetus for you starting your organization? Like, what were those activities or experiences that took place? Whatever they were, they led to you opening up the organization, therefore, becomes a part of its history. All right. Leadership, that's easy. Your CEO, your COO, but you always include your board of directors because they are very much a part of your leadership team. All right. Now, this next section is where you are going to separate yourself from the pack. When you describe your organization, I want you all to think about one word: impact. What has been the impact of your organization on those for whom you serve? Use real numbers. Do you have a homeless ministry? How many homeless people have you placed in shelters? You have a food ministry? How many tons of food do you donate in a year? You have an online coaching service. Maybe you coach in career development. You have an LLC. How many people have you led to their future careers? Impact, real numbers. Even if you have not yet started, now you're going to talk about what you hope your impact will be. Maybe you have a tutoring program. You want to tutor after school, right? Middle school kids. And you can say, I desire the impact of my tutoring program to be that when the students complete the program, they will have increased their reading proficiency by 3%. So whether or not you've started, write about impact using real numbers. All right. Now, this is really where some of you might need to rethink how you see your organization, because you need a statement of need. In other words, what is the problem that you are resolving? What is the issue that you are addressing with your organization? It doesn't matter if you are nonprofit or for-profit, it doesn't matter the industry. You need to write as if you are addressing an issue. All right. I want to give you an example. A bakery, right? Bakery wants to relocate downtown, wants a $20,000 grant. You might be thinking, what issue is she solving, right? She's making cookies all day. Maybe she decided to open up a vegan bakery because vegans don't have a lot of great places to buy baked goods. Or maybe it's all economic development, because where she wants to locate, there have been so many failed businesses and she wants to make a difference. Wherever, right? Wherever you are relocating, or the reason why you're opening up your business, whatever it is that is driving you to open up this organization, should fulfill some need or address some issue, because whatever it is, whatever that issue is going to lead you to the foundation that wants to give you money, because they're giving money to organizations addressing the same issue, right? That's near and dear to them. Every foundation has an area of interest where they give. So how do you find out where they give, who they give, how they give? You go to their website. But here's the issue. And 90% of foundations don't have a website, right? That's where you need to do a little bit of research to find out more information about that foundation. All right, now this is where some of you get into trouble, because I've been consulting for 16 years now. I am a business coach for the Women's Business Center of the EIDC, which is part of the Small Business Administration. And when I ask Who do you help? Who is your target population? Too often I help everybody. I help everybody. You can't help everybody. Ladies, listen to me, please. You can't help everybody. This is how you get burnt out, right? You should have one, maybe two target populations, and then you have to niche down even further because the more you're able to niche down who you help, the easier it will be for you to find grant money. You help the homeless, homeless who? Homeless veterans, homeless moms, right? You help foster care. Is it foster care families, foster care kids, people who've aged out of foster care? One, maybe two. If you want to drop yours in the chat, if I get to it, I will comment at the end. One, maybe two, because guess what? Foundations give according to target populations. So you have to be able to define your, and it could be based on region. Maybe you only work with organizations within a mile radius of your store. Let's say you have a store. So it can be based on region. All right. But you cannot help everybody. I had this discussion a couple of weeks ago. This person had a pest control company, just insisted, like, no, I help everybody. No, you can't help everybody. Are you working with customers that live within maybe a 5 mile radius of your pest control store? Okay, then that's your target population. Or maybe you use pesticides that don't harm pets, right? So maybe your target population is families that feel that they want to only use green pesticides that don't harm the environment or animals. So that could be your target population. You have to define yours. One, maybe two. And be excited. Be excited about writing this grant, right? Because this is your opportunity to tell your story, to talk about how you've changed lives or outcomes that you've achieved, or how you will, right? What outcomes you will achieve if you're able to open. And there's no better way of showcasing impact than using video. If you're currently open, have a client pick up their cell phone, talking to it for 30 seconds, get you a video that you're going to put on the homepage of your website, right? Videos are phenomenal when it comes to showcasing impact. And it doesn't have to be difficult. You can have your clients give you 30-second, 1 minute videos, right? It's amazing the impact that even video will have towards you getting a grant. All right. Now, all of you have a decision to make. Are you asking for operating grant money or program project grant money? You have to decide per foundation. You can only ask for one or the other. Now, we love getting general operating support grants, right? Because that money helps you shore up your administration. So you can use it to help the infrastructure of your organization. Maybe you want to use it to pay salaries or the lease, right? Or IT or marketing. But only about 32% of foundations give this general operating support grant. But we love it because you get to decide where to put the money. Most grants are going to be towards a particular like service or program or project of your organization. Now, something that you must know, though, you have to apply to multiple foundations. Why do you think that is? Enter the chat. Let me know. Why do you think it's important that you must apply to multiple foundations? Keep in mind, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. Why do you think it's important that you have to apply to multiple foundations? Anybody into the chat, let me know. Let's see. Just in case you don't get one, carry on. Yes. Limited funds, Katrina. Yes. 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 You might get turned down, right? Many apply. Yes to all of it. Competition, right? Most of these grants are competitive. All of that's true. But also, the one thing I want you to remember is that grants are not guaranteed. Do not let anybody tell you that they can guarantee you grant money. If somebody's saying that to you, I want you to do one of those about faces and run in the other direction because you're about to be scammed. No such thing as guaranteed grant money. No such thing as guaranteed grant money, right? You have to apply to multiple foundations. So be careful. I'm at the point where almost every day I'm hearing some horror story about somebody that's been scammed because somebody said they could guarantee them grant money. Literally just ran into this last week on Facebook. This huge post, $50,000 grant, nobody denied. I'm like, no, not again, not again. Be careful. Be careful. All right. Now, community partnerships, I cannot possibly overstate the importance that every single one of you need to have community partnerships. It doesn't matter what you do, your industry or profit status. It will do two things. It will strengthen your grant application because foundations don't expect you to be working alone, right? And I want you to seek out well-respected community partnerships, right? Like libraries, for example. I think they're criminally underutilized. Let's say you have an accounting firm. You could give a 1 hour free tax talk every month at your local library. They're going to promote you, right? And by connecting with community organizations, a lot of them, they're ingrained in the community. They can often refer you to go where to get funding, right? Because many of them are funded by other entities in the community, right? And reason number two, it increases your level of visibility. Some of you have great programs, right? But not enough people know about the programs, not enough people know about you. So by you connecting with well-respected organizations, right, in your community, it raises your level of visibility. And I'm going to tell you why a little bit later, why that is so important when it comes to grant funding, because foundations are watching organizations and the work that they do and what they do and how they do the work in their community. So homework for all of you. Name 5 organizations, five that you're going to connect with in your community. 5 organizations, right? 5 organizations. Okay. All right. Next, you have to write goals. You're asking for money. So you have to write in this application, what are you going to do if you get the money? What do you expect the goals to be? Right? But they have to be SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Now, let's say I have a literacy program because I want to reduce the poverty rate in Cleveland. I write down that as my goal. Well, that's a goal, but it's not a SMART goal. A SMART goal would say I want to reduce the poverty rate by 5% in Cleveland for Hispanic children under the age of 5 within a 5-year time frame, right? What did I do there? Anybody in the chat? How did I change the goal into a SMART goal? Because you're going to need to know all of this information as you're writing grants, right? How did I change that goal into a SMART goal? I was more specific, Drusilla? Absolutely. I gave the whole of what, when, where, and how. Andrea, you covered it all. And who? Yes, actionable and realistic. Letitia, yes. I did all of that, but very specifically, I made it measurable. I made it measurable. I included data and stats. 5%, Cleveland, Hispanic children under the age of 5, 5-year time frame. These are all things that can be measured. Data and stats, they're metrics. Anytime, excuse me, you want to create a SMART goal, add data and stats. All right. And you can use this formula regardless of what type of program, right, or grant you're seeking. Now, this is how you are going to write your use of the grant money. This is the budget. This is the grant budget. You have to explain how you're going to be using the grant money. And it doesn't matter if you are nonprofit or for-profit, this is all the same, right? Let's say you want $50,000 to hire an executive director. You can't put into the application, I need 50 grand for an ED and leave it. You have to be specific. Is it a contracted person, right? If so, what is the hourly rate? How much money are you paying this person an hour? How many hours are they working a week? How many weeks are they working out of the year? Do you need supplies? What are the supplies? What are they being used for? How many do you need? How much is each supply? The numbers go into the budget, typically an Excel file. The description of how you're going to be using the grant money goes into the budget narrative. All right, got it? All right. Now, this is the slide here. So if you need to do a screenshot, you do whatever you need to do. You're going to get the replay later, but this is as important as anything you will ever write in the grant application, right? Because I'm trying to show you that it is about more than what you write in the application that leads to whether or not you're going to get funded. This is it. You need to meet with the foundation. Yes, before you submit the application. This is as important as anything you will ever write. You want to meet with the foundation and you want to meet with them because you're trying to get their grant money. And guess what? They want to meet with you because they're considering giving you grant money. And guess what? In this meeting, you will get information about the grant that is typically not on the website because you're building this relationship. You're in this meeting. And listen, this is a 30-minute Zoom meeting, right? Now, if you are in close proximity to the foundation or the organization, then yes, meet with them in person. But typically, these are Zoom meetings, right? I probably set up 1,000 of these over the last 16 years. This is critical. This is critical, right? That you build this relationship with the foundation. And oftentimes it is the deciding factor as to whether or not you get the grant funding, right? Now, I know some of you are saying, Linda, this sounds good. This sounds good, but I don't have time for this. Like, I don't have time to write these grants. Remember I said at the beginning that some grants are 2 and 3 pages? Yes, I was serious. That is very accurate, right? So I have a question for all of you, and I would like an answer in the chat. Do you have time to get free money? Like, do you have time to get free money? Let me see if anybody in the chat has time to get free money. I'm saying yes. I'm saying always. I'm saying yes, yes, yes. I'm saying absolutely I have time to get this free money. I'm saying yep, yo, and yep, right? I'm saying of course. So if you have time to get the free money, I need for you to spend just a little time on the process to get the free money. All right. What are you going to do? You're going to send an email to the foundation after you find the foundation. You're going to send the foundation an email. And this goes to a specific person, usually a program director or a program manager, or sometimes an executive director. Get the name, the email. And you send this letter. And in this email, you're describing your organization. You're discussing who you help and how you help them. You are aligning your mission to the mission of that foundation or that organization. And you are not asking for money in this email. You're asking for a meeting. You ask for money in this email, that is the quickest way for you to get a rejection letter, right? You've got to set up this meeting because this meeting is critical, right? And so this makes a difference because if you send this email to a foundation or an organization, and you send it to the appropriate person email, they will set up a meeting. All right. They will set up a meeting. Now, this is how you find the grants. Someone was asking, I saw some question about how do you get grants for for-profits, right? This is how you search for grants, whether or not you are a for-profit or a nonprofit. These are grant portals, and they house grants that are available, whether you are a nonprofit or a for-profit. Their search is the same. All right. Foundation Directory Online is the leading source of information in the US about grant makers, right? Now, they don't give you the grant, they give you the organization that provides grants. So let's say you're in Detroit and you have a nonprofit where you help veterans with PTSD get transitional housing. You input that information into Foundation Directory Online, and they will give you a list of organizations that provide those kinds of grants. Grants.gov, that's the source for federal grants. Oh, before I leave FDL, let me share some information. It's $50 a month to subscribe, but guess what? It's free at your local library, right? Grants.gov, do you know that the government provides grants to for-profits as well as nonprofits, right? That site is free, of course. Lilly Foundation, that's the largest funder of religious organizations. Grant Watch and Grant Station, both of them. They house grants for whether you are a for-profit or a nonprofit. Now, what I like about these two, Grant Watch is only $20 a week, right? Or they have a special though that's $200 for the whole year. Grant Station is $200 for the whole year. But these two organizations, they provide you with the actual grant opening, right? They will give you the grant application, the synopsis, the sponsor of the grant, the contact information for the sponsor, name, email, address, telephone number, right? So Grant Station, $200 for the whole year. Grant Watch, $200 for the whole year, or $20 a week. And you can cancel at any time. You can do the $20 a week at Grant Watch. UrbanAwarenessUSA.org. I love them. They're free. Sign up for their newsletter. Again, these organizations provide grants, information about grants, whether you are a for-profit or a nonprofit. It's how you do the search, right? It's how you put in your information. And there's a box where you can check as to whether or not you're a business or a nonprofit. All right. Now, just to show you, this is Grant Watch, right? $20 a week. Look right there in the middle. You check, are you a nonprofit or a business or an individual? You check that box and then you start completing these filters to the left. Target population, who are you helping, right? Subject area, start completing this information here. And you push a button, you will get a list of grants, right? Now, let me say something to you about location, because many of you are just leaving money on the table, right? You're leaving money on the table. You have to start local. It's easier to get local grant money, right? Don't be seduced by these $2 and $3 million government grants. They're difficult to get. Start local. Google local community foundation near me. Just Google that. When you have a chance, Google local community foundation near me, and one will pop up. You need to meet with them because that's what they do, is give grant funding, right? Now, that's your local grant organizations. What about the national funders? Don't disregard the national organizations, right? Because just because a foundation is located in Texas doesn't mean they're not giving money to you and you're in Kentucky. Do both. Apply for both. And for my international friends, these searches are for you as well. You could live here in the United States and serve a population in Belize. You could live in Belize and serve a population in Belize and still search and get grants, right? So this is not just for U.S. organizations, but this is Grant Watch, $20 a week. Get you a list of grants. All right. Now, this is a list of grants, right? Now we're at the end of the year. So when you go into these portals, be sure to click that you want to sign up for their newsletters, because you want to know when these grants open back up again. Some of them are called rolling. If you ever see the word rolling, ROLLING, it means that you can apply at any time of the year. But typically these grants have deadlines, right? HelloAlice.com, they consistently have many different grants for women business owners, right? Main Street Grant. Do you have a brick and mortar, right? Doesn't matter if you have a nonprofit or a for-profit. You have a brick and mortar physical location. That grant opens up every year. Do you have a beauty product? That round three is going to be opening soon. Amber Grants for Women, they give away $30,000 every single month. 10,000 is dedicated to startups. 10,000 is for more generic areas. And then another 10,000 is based on a theme, right? Find out what the theme is for December. I won't go through all of these. Grants for Women, that's a list of grants, right? Cartier, they have a program. Are you a startup? Busy, Sky's the Limit. They both have grants for startups. You may be saying, Linda, I'm too small. I'm teeny tiny. It's just me, right? I'm a solopreneur, or my nonprofit is a one-woman office, right? Organizations like Amarillo, they specialize in giving grants to super small organizations, right? But you might say, Linda, I don't even have an org chart, right? I don't even have a paid staff. You don't necessarily need a paid staff. You know what you need? Impact. Impact for your nonprofit or your for-profit, because organizations like Amarillo give to all volunteer organizations, right? Mustard seed, faith-based organizations, right? So don't think just because you're a church, you can't get funding. Churches get grants too, all right? And then make sure you network, join other women's organizations, right? So that you can increase your level of visibility, right? Now, into the chat. Let me know the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks and money. Banks and money into the chat. Let's see what you got. Banks and money. Banks and money. Local community foundation. I'm seeing some really scam banks or scams. Rejection, loans, cosigner, right? Cosigner. Sometimes you need a cosigner. High interest, hard to get. Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to answer your question right now, Lisa. Did you know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money, grant money, grant money in the United States? We're in Ohio. One of the largest foundations in Ohio is the Key Bank Foundation. Then we have PNC Bank. We've got Citizens Bank, all providing grants. I'm giving you 4 hot leads today. Bank of America is the largest bank in the country. They have an endowment of hundreds of millions of dollars in grant money that they give. Wells Fargo, one of the largest financial institutions, hundreds of millions of dollars, right? TD Banks. Now, Bank of America and Wells Fargo, they give to nonprofits and for profits. TD Banks, typically nonprofits. The fourth one is called Truist, Truist. They give to nonprofits and for profits. And look, the bank doesn't have to be your bank. Doesn't have to be your bank, right? Choose a bank that has a great presence in your community. Maybe it's a regional office or a national office, right? But you're going to need to meet with them. But please don't sleep on banks. They give so much grant money away, right? Just have to know the process. Remember, I keep telling you about the process of placing yourself in a position and not just write a bunch of grants, but to start winning grants, right? And this is part of the process. And I want to say a couple of words about artificial intelligence because it's here. You've heard of Chat GPT, it's here. It's not coming, it's here. Be very, 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 very careful because don't think that AI is going to write a perfect grant for you. You have to feed it information about your organization. That's why it's so important to know how to gather and write information about your organization, all of the components of a grant application that we just went through, so that you can feed this information into AI so that it can re-edit, right? Write it better, right? Retool it, right? Help you with the grant search, but you have to know what you're searching for, what type of grants you need, how, right? So it can be a phenomenal, phenomenal tool, not a replacement, a tool to help you write grants better and faster. So you keep that in mind. All right. Now, I said I had a bonus surprise for you. This is it because there's a lot of money available. And as women-led organizations, you need to place your organization in the best possible position to get this grant money, right? And so I have for you a grant writing course that I know is going to help you. This is how I won $17 million. And you can do the same. This is why I created this course. And it includes my coaching because I want you to be able to write this grant application and write what is needed to go into the grant application. And this is what you do. This course will help you write every single part of the grant application, every part, from your needs statement, your budget, your impact statement, you name it. And it also helps you to find the organizations that align to your mission. But here's where the coaching comes in. Let's say you set up that meeting with the foundation. You need to know what to say, how you say it, what are the keywords, what are the buzzwords, right? This is information AI will never give to you, right? This is where the coaching comes in. Now, the course will teach you how to write your budget, right? But you come into the Facebook group where you can ask all of the questions you want, and we'll be able to tell you, think about what you should be asking, the amount. And should you be asking for money for your infrastructure, right? The operating grant, or maybe your program needs money, right? So that's why the coaching and the course is important. You get 12 modules, 35 lessons. You get a video in front of every lesson. But this is why the course is different, because over the past 16 years, I've been hired to create grant applications. I've been hired to create those grant questions. And I've utilized those grant questions to build this course. And so I'm giving you the opportunity to answer the kinds of questions you will see on a grant application, only in a very supportive community where you can get the help you need to make sure you are providing the best answer. Because when you're done, you will have written a grant template. Because I'm going to take you through every part of that grant application in this course. You will have a beautiful grant template that you're not going to use. You're now going to use that template to start applying for grants. That's why this makes it easier and faster, because you do the work here, but in a community where you get support and you get help. And yes, you get real grant examples, and every grant example I wrote and every grant example won money. And I get you started with a list of over 600 organizations that give funding. And then the private Facebook group is everything, because you're coming into that group to ask your questions. I'm in the group all the time, by the way, just so often, right? But you come and you ask questions. Even if I'm not there, I have professional grant writers and people with doctorates of English and education and CEOs. It's just a community, a collaborative community, no competition. And my students, maybe 3 weeks ago, created 8 different chat groups so that they could better work with each other, right? Because the students want the other students to get the grant money as much as I do. And I dropped so many grants. If you're looking for grants, I dropped so many grants in the Facebook group. The students drop as many grants as I do. It's remarkable. And then because I really want to help you, I give you an hour of live group coaching with me. I just had my last session of the year yesterday, almost 2.5 hours, answering your questions. This course is for people who are trying to get grant money, right? Who are serious about getting grant money. Now, this is not what you're paying. This is what the course is worth. 12 modules, 35 lessons worth $3,549. Intro videos are worth $599. Funding list, $499. Workbooks, planners, grant trackers, right? Worth $350. The entire course is worth $4,997. And look, I don't believe in plucking numbers out of the sky and saying, oh, my course is worth X, Y. No, it's been audited 3 times. And the university grant writing courses that you take in college are not only $5,000, but you certainly don't have access to the professor afterwards. So my regular price is $997. I try to keep it on sale for $497 because I really want to make it affordable. But you hopped on the webinar. You hopped on the webinar tonight. You could have been somewhere else at 7 o'clock. Therefore, you're getting the reward. You're getting an extra 50% off of the low $497 price. You're only going to pay $247 if you get this course within the next 3 days. That includes everything I mentioned, the full course, the Facebook group, the group coaching. Like I make it as affordable as humanly possible because I know it can help you. And it has helped. It has helped. But you have to use a code, DEC17P like Paul. I'll show you how in a moment. But you have to use that code to take off the 50% because people pay the $497. So you've got to use the code to get it down to $247. And those of you who want a little extra time to pay, you've got it. You have 2 months, $137.50 right now. And then in a month, you pay the last $137.50. But you get everything now. I don't believe in, dripping my course. You get everything now. The full course, Facebook group coaching. Put a 2 on the end of the code so that we know you want the 2-month payment. And you read right at the bottom, the course never expires. You read that right. The course never expires. All right. This is everything you get. The letter of inquiry I always talk about because the LOI, some organizations want you to complete that. And then if you meet their criteria, they give you the total grant application. That's why we have an entire lesson on it. And how do you create your budget? How do you write? your statement of need? How do you write your impact statement? It's all included. $247, one and done for everything. Use the code DEC 17P like Paul, or for the 2 months, DEC 17P, put a 2 on the end of it. You have until Friday. So if you want to buy the course, just hit the link in the chat. Hit the link in the chat. This is important. So if you want to pay the one payment of $247, remember you're getting that as a discount off of the $497. So hit the $497 price. It will take you to this page here. Everybody look to the left. $497 is what people are paying, but you have that coupon and put your coupon DEC17P. It will take off 50%. You're only paying $247. Now look at this little block here. This is a private VIP session between you and me. Before we even talk about grants, I look at your mission, your vision, your infrastructure, right? Whether it's a product or a program or a service, and I do a deep dive and really get you together, get you focused. Then we look at some local and national grants. It's a 1-hour session. Is $495 for the hour. You get the session notes and you even get the video. All right. Now, the only time it's reduced to $195 is if you buy it with the course. You have to buy it with the course to get the $195. All right. All right. And yes, you can add it right on. Now, if you want to make the one payment, we have a buy now, pay later option. Affirm, Afterpay, and Klarna all have 6 months, same as cash. 6 months, same as cash, right? That you can spread out over 6 months. You might get a grant before you even have paid for the course. All right. You want to make the 2-month payment. You just want to pay us 2 payments. You can do that. This is a 2-payment plan, 2 times $275. You hit that. It will bring up this page here. You input your coupon code, right? DEC17P, then the number 2. Look what it does. It takes off 50%. You're only paying $7.50 now. And then a month from now, you'll pay the last one $37.50. And yes, you can add the $195 onto that. Got it? All right. Now, everybody look at Whitney. Whitney didn't think she was going to get any grant money. Whitney got $200,000. $200,000. She did exactly what I'm asking you to do. She started local. Southern Power Fund gave her $40,000. Then she went to National Birth Equity Collaborative. They gave her $50,000. And she said, I can now be a salaried employee of my own business. Her total was $200,000. $200,000, right? And then for the for-profits, Tranquility Point Therapeutic Massage, they're a massage company. They got $20,000. They said, we are so very thankful and grateful for your course. It's been life-changing for our business. Christina is an educator. She got a $10,000 grant, first time ever. May I share that I'm so grateful for Linda. I would not have had the confidence to follow through on applying for grants if it wasn't for her grant writing course. The depth of information provided is unmatched. $10,000, had never received a grant before. April entered a pitch competition, came in second place, beat out 100 people, took home $9,000. So if you are going to be pitching your business, the course is great. I tell you how to tell your story, right? And guess who won the LegalZoom $10,000 grant? My student Emily, about 3 weeks ago. Parnisha got that Walmart grant. She got the one-on-one. She says, thanks, Linda Peavy, because that one-on-one session we had is getting my organization funded. I didn't even include one other organization 2 weeks ago, got a $40,000 grant 2 weeks ago. Kimberly, 4 sponsorships, less than 2 months. Ask me the difference between a grant and a sponsorship when we get to the Q&A. You'll want to know. All right. And we are there. It's Q&A time. It is Q&A time. All right. It is Q&A time. Now, before we do the Q&A, this is really important. And this is not for me, this is for you. Because it's December 17th. Time is up, right? You've got to be ready to go in January. Because in January, You want to start applying as soon as possible because there are some organizations that have first come, first serve grants, right? First come, first serve. So you need to be ready, right? So get yourselves ready, but do this, please. The link is in the chat. Look into the chat. The link is in the chat. All right. I want everybody to write. This is for you. I want you to write, I'm ready to get grant money. I believe in manifestation. Writing down what you want to have manifested, get it out of your bodies because we can't wait anymore, right? You've got to do this. You've got to put the future of your organization in your hands, and you can do this, right? But do it in a supportive environment. So I want everybody to write because I want you to get this out of you. Some of you have been sitting on this for a long time. You've been wanting to open up an organization, a for-profit or a nonprofit, and you haven't done it, right? You can do this and you can get help with the funding for $247 that you're going to write off. Yes, you write off the whole course, you write it off. Yes, you can write off the entire course. It is a business expense. And if you are a nonprofit, you list it as an expense, right? Because you don't have taxes. But if you are a for-profit or a small business, you write the course off. This is what I'm talking about. Yes, 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 yes. You have until Friday. Absolutely. You can pay Friday. Phyllis, that's what I'm talking about. Carry on. V, write this down. Write this down. Vicky, Ruby, Drusilla, right? Regina, Antoinette, Pamela, I'm ready to get grant money. Write it down, right? Write it down. This is Talonda, failed, right? Linda, the iPhone user, Cicely, right? Susan, be ready in January because unfortunately that like nobody's coming to save our businesses. Like nobody's coming to rescue our businesses. I have a coach who says all the time, we are who we've been waiting for, right? And you can do this, but do so in a supportive environment. All right. The difference between a grant and a sponsorship. So when you get a grant, the organization can't expect anything from you other than maybe you writing how you spent the grant funding, but they can't expect anything of value, right? In return for giving you grant money. That's why a bank can't demand that you belong to their bank in order for them to give you grant money. Like that's illegal. That's not how grants are provided. But sponsorships are different. So when an organization gives you a sponsorship, they're expecting something, right? Maybe they want to put their widget into your swag bag, or maybe they want to talk to your audience, or maybe they want an ad in your program booklet, or maybe they want their name on your marquee, right? Expect to provide something in return for getting that sponsorship money. And speaking of sponsorship money, banks provide sponsorships and grants, credit unions, sponsorships. It's rare that a credit union will provide a grant, but banks will provide grants and sponsorships. Credit unions, just sponsorships. All right. All right. Oh, okay. So really quickly, someone's having problems getting in. So I'm going to show this to you live. I'm going to show you how you get in live. Okay, excellent. So bear with me. I'm going to share my screen and show you the process of how you get the course. All right, so when you hit the link, you're going to come to this page here. If you want to make the one payment of $247, hit the $497. All right, it will take you to this page. There's the have a coupon. Input your coupon. It is DC17P. And then hit apply. You see it takes off 50%. You're only paying $247. Now you can add the VIP coaching if you want. That'll bring it to $442, or you don't have to, right? Either way, it will take off the 50%. And then you put in your email address, you hit save and continue, and here's where the payment information is. So you can always pay with your credit card, or you hit pay another way and then hit new payment. There you are. You can pay by bank draft or credit card or firm or Cash App Pay or Google Pay or Afterpay or Klarna. This is if you make the one payment, right? You have all these options. Remember, Afterpay, Klarna, and Affirm 6 months, same as cash. Even for the 247, they'll divide it over 6 months. All right. Now, the 2 month payment plan, hit 2 times 275, right? Enter your coupon. You have a coupon, DEC17P, the number 2. Hit apply. It will take off 50%. You're only paying $137.50 now, and then $137.50 a month from now. All right. So I hope that answered the question. All right. We're going to go over to the Q&A. Let's see. What's free at your local library? Access to the foundation directory online. That is a portal where you are going to be searching for grants. It's totally free. We're on Eastern Standard Time. So that may be why you're missing or coming in late. We're on Eastern Standard Time. All right. How do I get a sponsorship? You request it, right? And so remember I said how you send the email to the foundation? You can do the same thing. You send an email to wherever you're seeking that sponsorship from, the bank or maybe a business in your community. You'd be surprised how businesses in your communities are willing to fund your organizations or some program. You send them the email as well. And just to let you know, I have templates. So remember I talked about how you send that email to the foundation? There's a template in the course. In the Facebook group, there's a template. Remember I talked about the importance of creating that partnership? There's a template in the Facebook group where you can you just plug and play. You put in your information and you're ready to send it. All right. Sponsorship is the same way. No different. No different. All right. I just received my 501c3 certification. Yay. It's only me. I am ready to get grant money. I need a brick and mortar facility, right? For my resource organization. I would just say start small and start slow, right? You said you want a brick and mortar. So the question is, are you asking for $1 million grant or a $500,000 grant for an organization to allow you to buy a brick and mortar? Now you just received your 501c3. Start slow, start small. So let's say you need a brick and mortar because you want to provide a resource center. You might want to use a co-working space first to make your organization successful. Because if you are just starting out, it's going to be hard for an organization to trust you with their $500,000 or their $1 million. Start off slow. Maybe rent out a co-working space, build your nonprofit and make it successful. If you want to create maybe transitional housing, instead of trying to buy a house with grant money, maybe lease out a duplex or lease out a home and make that home successful for your clients. Because the more successful you are and the more you can show impact, it'll be easier for you to get future funding. So start small, start slow, build it up, and make it successful. All right. All right. So those were the questions in the Q&A. I'm going to go over to the chat. Yes, you write it off. It is a business expense. And yes, you get a certificate at the end of the course. You get a certificate, yes. All right, other questions. Let's see, I'm going to go down slow because I know I saw quite a few in the webinar chat. Just bear with me. I'm going to go through here. Okay. Minority and women's business owners, I think that's your target population. What are you providing for them? What is your service? Autism, disability, what is your service? Children, low income, foster care. So is it low income children who are in foster care? Is that what you mean? Be specific. My target segment is persons impacted by a cancer diagnosis, patient survivors and their caregivers within the Metro Chicago area. So what services are you providing them? So you're specific in terms of helping people who've been diagnosed with cancer. What is your service? What are you providing? Are you providing them with mental health counseling? Are you providing with resources as to where they can go next? Oftentimes, there are resources outside of what the hospital can provide. Are you sending them to a support group? So, the more specific you are and how you are serving your target population, the easier it will be for you to search for the grants that you need. I need a coach to oversee what I am doing. Send me an email because I do provide grant coaching that will keep you accountable, right? It will keep you accountable for researching these grants when you find them, writing the grants, following up, right? And making sure that you are providing and seeking a wide breadth of grants. That's so important for all of you because many of you should be searching in multiple areas, right? Not just one area, multiple areas. So let's take this one person who helps people impacted by a cancer diagnosis, right? So that could be health and wellness, right? If they're providing mental health services, now that's mental health, right? If they're providing some type of support system, right? Maybe they are providing, maybe they have a center where they house people, right? If they've been diagnosed, maybe they can no longer care for themselves. They're not hospitalized, but they can't care for themselves at home anymore, right? Now that's housing. All right. So there's multiple categories where many of you can be searching for grants, not just one, not just the first one that comes to your mind, but that's why the course is important. And that's why the coaching is important, right? Because if you come in and you ask us these questions, we can give you, right, a different perspective on the many different areas where you can be searching for grants. If the person, let's say the person is a child, that's a whole different area. Now you can be searching for grants that are geared to organizations that serve children, right? Your area just happens to be children who are diagnosed with cancer, but that's still going to qualify you possibly for that grant because you're helping children, right? All right, let's see. I'm a for-profit. I need funding to start a fashion line, right? That's arts and culture. So that's your category, arts and culture. And there are designers, right? Eileen Fisher has a grant program. Tory Burch has a grant program, right? That's the fashion industry. So that's one of the areas where you're going to be looking is the fashion industry. There are programs, there are grant programs for designers, right? Let's see. Let's see. How do you do that when it's grants you're applying online? How do you do what exactly? How do you do that when it's grants you're applying online? Restate that question. I'm not sure what you're referring to. How do you do what when you're applying for grants that are online? So for example, first of all, most grants are online. That's most grants now are online. The application is online because organizations don't want to deal with the paper anymore. So most grants you apply for online for sure. And if that's the case, this is a good nugget for all of you. When you have a grant application that is online, never write directly into the portal initially. Copy and paste the question into a Word document. Answer your question in that Word document because oftentimes you have a word or a character count, right? Get the answer that you want, like review it, edit it, and then when you're satisfied, copy and paste that answer back into the portal, but never go directly into the grant portal just answering the questions, right? It's too difficult. You want your information in a Word document that you can use a program like Grammarly to edit, right? And that you can count your words or your characters depending on the grant. All right. So even if it's online, you still want to find out who you should meet with. That has no bearing on whether or not you should be meeting with them. Do you introduce the fact that you are seeking funding in your email? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the purpose of the email. You're letting them know who you are, what you do. You're aligning your mission to the mission of that organization. You're letting them know that I want a partnership with you. I'm seeking grant funding, right? I would like to develop a partnership because that's what a partnership is. If they're going to give you grant money, you're developing a partnership. So that's a nice term. But absolutely, you let them know you're seeking funding. You're just not asking for the amount in the email. You're waiting until you get into the meeting. But let them know up front, this is why I want to meet. I have this fantastic program. I need funding. It aligns with what you're providing funding for. We should meet. Yes. All right. That was me. Thanks for showing for nonprofit, for profit. Okay. Local community, what? Local community foundation. Google local community foundation near me. Is it true that banks have to give grants as a part of their CRA responsibilities? They don't have to. They don't have to, but many of them do. Many, more than you could possibly imagine do. But guess what? They don't advertise them. You don't see banks advertising grants. Rarely do you see a bank advertising a grant. Rarely. There are some that do. Barclays Bank, they have a grant every single year geared towards small businesses. Citizens Bank, they have a grant every year geared towards small businesses, right? But those same organizations, if you meet with them, there's a possibility that they will give you grant money as a nonprofit too. So typically they give both grants for nonprofits and for profits, but it's rare that they advertise it. This is why it's important to meet. Yeah, Wells Fargo, someone said Wells Fargo um, private foundation is great. They have hundreds of millions of dollars that they literally have to give away for reasons we won't go into. But yes, and something that you all should know about the Wells Fargo Foundation, their private foundation, not only do they handle money that they give from Wells Fargo, but they are now grant administrators for dozens and dozens and dozens of other foundations, right? So they administer the grant for many of the foundations. That's why it's so important. You can literally go onto the Wells Fargo site and they will tell you the person responsible for the grants in your region. Bank of America is a little different. And someone said it's hard to get in contact with Bank of America. So let me give you a little secret, right? You have to find out. First of all, LinkedIn is beautiful. So I'm just going to say LinkedIn is your friend, right? There's so much information you can find out from LinkedIn. You could easily go to LinkedIn and research, right? Bank of America president for Ohio, Bank of America president for Iowa. Find out who that person is, connect to them through LinkedIn because you have to meet with Bank of America. I mean, I've been in this business 16 years, so I have ways of getting around this and getting through to get to the people that I need to get to. But that's a great way for all of you to get to the people that you need to get with. But you have to meet with Bank of America in order to get their grant money. But their grant is significant. It's significant. They don't give away small amounts of grant money. Who are they giving it to? Is it true that you need a business plan to apply for them? No, no. You don't need a business plan, but if you want a business plan, I'm going to give you a resource. Also, keep in mind a business plan and a grant application is pretty similar. So if you're going through this course, by the time you get through the course, you will basically have written your business plan. The only difference will be in a business plan, they want more marketing information, right? They like for you to have more marketing information, right? So if you need help writing a business plan, I'm going to send you to SCORE. SCORE is funded by the Small Business Administration, and they can help. You meet with them and they can help with business plans. That's for everyone. I put that into the chat. All right. Let's see. I was talking about how do you talk with a business when there are grants online? Just because their grants are online, again, most grants are online, but there's typically a contact person you have to look, right? when you apply for that grant, you go to a funding requirement page. There is always going to be a page of directions as to what you need to do to apply to the grant. You have to really look closely at the pages. Maybe it's the home page of the organization, or the about page of the organization, or the contact us page of the organization, but there is typically an individual, right? That is the contact person for that grant. And that's who you get to, and that's who you meet with. Just have to do a little bit of research. But again, that's where the course comes in, because our course will teach you how to do that. All right, let me just double check. Let's see. There are quite a few questions in here, so I'm getting through them. All right, let's see. Okay, there are quite a few questions, so I'm going to go back up just a little. I want to make sure I don't pass any of these up. Let's see. Uh, Drusilla, send me an email so I can get you the information that you need. All right, send me an email. Um, Melissa, if you could put my email address, everybody, please put my email address on your safe senders list. Please, please, please. On your safe senders list. Okay? Because you're going to get the replay sent to your email address. And so if you put my email in your safe senders or your contact list, well, it will help to make sure it doesn't go to your spam. All right. The recording will be available tonight. Yes, tonight. Do you do one-on-one? Do you do one-on-ones throughout the course? If you want to purchase the one-on-one, you can purchase the one-on-one. Yes, if that's what you mean. So those of you who are buying the one-on-one, you decide when to meet with me. I leave that up to you because it's different for everybody. Some people like to meet with me right away. That's fine. Other people want to wait until they get in the course. That's fine. Other people want to wait until there's a grant that they are applying for. That's fine as well. That I leave up to you because every organization is different. So there's no time frame on when we set up that meeting. After you pay for the one-on-one, you decide when you want to meet with me, right? There's no pressure. You make that decision, right? Whenever you're ready, we will meet. All right. All right. Let's see. Someone said that they've been using SCORE for years and it helped them write their business plan. So, and it's free. SCORE is free. Thank you, Chanel, for putting in the wellsfargo.com link, their private foundation link. So what they do, they are the grant administrator for many, many, many other foundations, right? That you can apply for right online. But I absolutely recommend there's a regional director in every area of Wells Fargo. Meet with that director. All right. You've been using what for years? I think she's talking about maybe Grammarly. Um, So, right, there's no limit on when we meet for the one-on-ones. There's no time limit. Recording will be available, yes. All right, let's see. The link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. Yes, you can pay Friday. You'll get the 50% off if you pay before Friday. Let me just get through the rest of these questions. I explained the difference between the grant and the sponsorship. Remember, banks, sponsorships, and grants, credit unions, sponsorships. Can I have multiple sponsors? You should have multiple sponsors, just like you should have multiple grants. All of you should have multiple sponsors and multiple grants. Please don't think you can only have one grant. Do you know that most nonprofits exist because they have multiple grant funders? All right. So absolutely, that's your target, is to have multiple resources to bring in money. All right. All right, I have several business endeavors. I want to know, I think I heard you say you may get grant money to buy and lease property. Am I understanding correctly? You can apply for grant money, right, to help with the lease payments, right? Those are part of those operating grants because with an operating grant, you're building up your infrastructure and your lease payments is part of your administrative fees. So, yes, those are your operating grants. All right. My other business is a resume service, notary, and book writing. I'm not sure where to restart. What is your intake? Where's your intake on my dilemma? You don't know where to start. So, first of all, you're not alone because oftentimes when people do the one-on-one with me, we go through your potential right businesses because look, as entrepreneurs, I get it. We have 1,000 ideas in our heads and we really don't know what direction to go. I always advise that you start with one because trying to do multiples initially, no. So you have several business endeavors. If you buy the course, buy the one-on-one, when we sit down, we will go through the pros and cons of each one so that you can have focus, right? You need focus so that you can decide what is the best path for you. And oftentimes it depends on where your resources, what is your knowledge base, right? If you're an expert at writing resumes, an absolute expert at writing resumes, maybe that's your focus, right? Because book writing can come as an addition, and there are grants for authors, right? This is why, again, oftentimes there are multiple grant opportunities for what you're doing, right? So you want to be in the resume writing, so you're clearly a writer, right? You write resumes, that's one business, right? But authors get grants, so there are grant opportunities for authors, right? I literally just met with someone, I think it was last week, and we looked at some of the grants that are available for authors. There are grants available, right? But where's your passion and where's your knowledge base? Think about those two items, right? Because that's where you're going to be spending the majority of your time. Like, what are you absolutely great at? What do you bring to the table that nobody else does, right? Maybe you've written 2,000 resumes in your lifetime. That's going to get somebody's attention if they're seeking a resume writer versus you wanting to write your first book. Where's your knowledge base? Where's your experience, right? That's one place to start. All right. I met with several social service organizations who are very interested in my organization. Many have stated that they would love to add this to their list of services and affiliations. Is that what you mean when you say co-partner? Absolutely. There's many ways to be a partner, right? So whatever service you could provide, you can be a contractor for other organizations like these social service organizations. So if they see value in the service that you provide, you become a partner with them. Absolutely, that's a partnership. Absolutely, it is. There are many ways to be partners, and some will dictate money changing hands, which is great. Others don't, right? But that's absolutely a partnership. And it will be to your benefit, especially most social service agencies are well known in their communities, right? So I talked about increasing your level of visibility. So if you connect and become a contractor for that social service agency, that's going to automatically increase your level of visibility. And then maybe they can refer you to other organizations, right, within the community. BMO is another good source for funding, car dealerships also, because opportunities to network create car applications for them. As I was told, this is excellent. So I don't know what you mean when you say BMO. You're going to have to tell me what that is. But remember, everybody, I said it's important to connect with businesses in your community. You would be surprised how easy it is to reach out to a business and ask for sponsorships, right? Based on whatever your service is, right? Now, she mentioned car dealerships. She is absolutely correct. I remember years ago when I was working with one particular nonprofit, that was one of the first places we would go, the car dealerships, because they're all about promoting their car dealership, right? They love to be sponsors, right? They love to be sponsors so that people can come to their dealerships and buy cars, right? So look at the organizations in your community that need that visibility themselves, right? Like grocery stores, car dealerships, right? Radio stations. So that's perfect. Getting a legal team is very, very important. What should I expect to pay overall? That I cannot tell you. Legal fees vary widely based on what type of attorney you need. All right. So I can't possibly tell you that it depends on what you need. If you need a trademark, that varies widely. That could be $2,000 or $5,000, depends on the attorney. But it depends on what you need, right? Make sure for all of you, if you are a business, get business insurance. Get business insurance as a part of your infrastructure, as a part of your administrative fees, right? That's important to have business insurance. And that can vary widely. Oh, BMO is a local bank. Go to your local banks. Definitely. It doesn't have to be a bank that's as well known as a Bank of America or Truist or a Wells Fargo, because some of the local banks are really ingrained in their community. So they want to be able to say that, yes, they support local nonprofits, local for-profits, right? That's why a bank is it's just a win-win situation. Is it true that radio stations and certain venues can donate airtime space ads to not-for-profits? Sometimes they will donate airspace, airtime and airspace. Sometimes they do. But also, radio stations, if they have a community service, right, section or department, and you're a nonprofit, right? Think about going on that community service program and giving a public service announcement or working with the radio station to have them promote your event, right? So that's why, again, local, local, local. It's easier to get local funding. These are just a few of the local organizations that you all can go to help you and opening your business and in thriving. Radio stations, banks, right? Car dealerships. All right. All right. So let's see. Let me go back here. I have a startup less than a year now, no employees, making creations like handmade hair bows, wreaths. Would it be better for sponsors or grants to help with families dealing with autism disability? That's two totally different areas. You're making handmade hair bows, and then the other possible organization is you help families dealing with autism or disability. Now, there's probably more grants definitely available in the area of autism and disability, because it sounds like that would maybe be a nonprofit. I'm not sure, but any area of disability, right? It's going to be easier. I never say easy, easier to get grant money when you're servicing, right, a community that's suffering from a particular disability, right? Let's see, other questions. Where's the best place to get help with the startup for a not-profit, for a not for a nonprofit to help with the mission statement of business? The same organization, SCORE. I'm going to write in here again. SCORE, go to SCORE. There's a SCORE in most major communities because they're funded by the Small Business Administration. Even though you are a nonprofit, I would still go to SCORE. I would still go to SCORE for sure. Let's see. Can notaries get grants? So let me just say this to all of you so that I will save some time. It's not a question of whether or not you're going to get a grant or whether or not you can get a grant. If you are in a legal business, There are grants available. It's about how you find them, and that's what the course will help you with. It's about how do you do research to find the organizations that want to fund you. So it's not a matter of what you do, right? So as long as you're doing something legal, you find, you research, you connect with organizations that will want to give you money, right? You're a notary. That's the financial industry, right? Why not go to banks? If that's your organization, that's what you do. And that brings me to something else I want to share with you. Three different areas where you should be looking for grants based on three different sets of criteria. One is your mission, right? Align your mission to the mission of the foundation or the organization giving grants. Two is your industry. Go to your industry. You're a notary, go to the financial services industry, same industry. Are you putting up a hair care salon? Go to an organization that makes shampoo and conditioner like Shea Moisture, right? You want to open up a nail salon? Go to Opie. They make nail polish. You're in transportation? Go to FedEx, right? They have grants. Don't overlook your own industry when you are seeking grants, right? All right. And then the last one is your ethnicity or your gender, or right, or your gender, because there are some organizations like Amber Grants for Women, they only give grants to women. So seek those organizations because they're going to be laser focused on what you provide. And sometimes it matters less of your industry, but it's more important that you are a woman-owned business that would make you qualify. And then, of course, you have to explain what it is that you do. All right. So mission, industry, gender, ethnicity, and the same for Black organizations or minority organizations. There are some organizations, some foundations, some corporations with foundations that give specifically, right, to minority organizations. All right. All right. I'm wrapping it up, but before we do anything, before we go anywhere, we have to give Lisa and Kimberly some love because Lisa and Kimberly was like, you're not leaving me behind. Time is up. It's December 17th. You're not leaving me behind. I want to see some love for Lisa. I want to see some clapping of hands and some hearts for Kimberly and Lisa because you're on your way. And those of you who are buying the course, this is important. You will get 3 emails. One will be a welcome email. One will be an email with the Facebook group link. Come over to the Facebook group. I will help you in the Facebook group. I'm going to ask you a question, right? You answer the question. I'm going to give you help right then and there. All right. Now, it's always best to stay until the end. It's always best to stay until the end. I have a bonus for you, for all of you. If you buy this course before Friday, remember I talked about artificial intelligence? I have a mini training. I have a training guide that will introduce you to artificial intelligence that will help you write your grants smarter and faster and quicker, right? You will get that free. It's $99. You will get that free. I'm trying to put you in the best possible position in January to get this grant money because we're going to need it, right? Because again, we don't know what's happening. We don't know what's going to be cut, right, out of the government. Government is a huge source for grants. We don't know who's going to be cutting back, right? Place yourself in the best possible position to get this done and be in a community where you can ask all the questions you want to keep moving you forward, right? So Lisa and Kimberly, I will see you over in the Facebook group. All right, let's see. Other question, I'm going to wrap it up. So what would a car dealership sponsor? Whatever your needs are, like what do you need? It depends on what your expenses are, right? Let's say you want a speaker. Let's say you have an event and you want a speaker at your event. Maybe it's a fundraiser for your organization and you want to pay for a speaker. Have the car dealership pay for the speaker, right? And in return, they're going to want something. Maybe they want to have their car parked outside of the facility so everybody can see the example of cars that they sell. Or maybe they want to talk to your audience, right, at your event. So it depends on what you are needing funding for as to where you're going to ask them to sponsor. Or maybe you just ask for a donation for the overall organization. That's totally up to you. All right. So someone is saying that business insurance can be as low as $18 a month, right? So that's important. I have two business partners. Will it cost $275 per person with the coupon, or is there a group rate? No, no, that's the final price because that is already a huge discount off of the $5,000. So that's what it is. You can both write it off for sure. You can definitely both write it off. All right, let's see. Other questions? Let me just make sure. Also, a grocery store as far as business to business. So it you have to think about what services you offer, right? And where you would want them to sponsor. It depends on what are you providing. We're talking about sponsorships now. So typically if you request a sponsorship, it's for some type of an event that you are having. So maybe as a business, you're putting on an event, right, to the community. Maybe you provide a service where you give out information about transitional housing, for example, and you're having some major event, or maybe you're having a gala to raise money for your business, right? The grocery store can buy a table of 10, right? A bank could buy a table of 10. A car dealership could buy a table of 10 and then and respond to them buying your table of 10 tickets, they get to speak to your audience, right? So there's many different ways, right, that you can make this work. But again, that's part of how we help you. We help you think through. You come into the Facebook group, you ask that question, and it will give us time to really think through how it could help you. All right, let's see. I understand a radio station, but but a grocery store and a dealership trying to understand it. So keep in mind, local businesses want exposure. They want exposure, right? So a grocery store wants exposure. A dealership wants exposure. So they want to get, let's say you have a let's say you have a for-profit where you provide training to attorneys, right? Maybe you provide some type of training to attorneys, right? And this training could help them to better market their services. Let's say you have this is a good example. I'm making this up off of the top of my head. Let's say you have a for-profit where you train attorneys as to how to better market their business, their law firm, right? You're having a conference where you're bringing in, right? You're selling your conference tickets to attorneys because part of your conference is you're going to train them as to how to better market their law firm. Now, attorneys are typically what? High income. Go to the Mercedes dealership, go to the Lexus dealership and say, we're offering sponsorships. So for a $10,000 sponsorship, you have the opportunity to get in front of this group of 1,000 attorneys, right? Or you can park your car outside of the facility or park your car in the facility. Or you get to come up and you get to address these attorneys and let them know why the only car to drive is a Mercedes or the only car to drive is a Lexus, right? Does that make that clear to everybody? That's just one example of where you as a for-profit business can get sponsorships from another for-profit business based on a service that you are providing. All right? Is that clear? Everybody got that? All right. My current coach says we're the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Like nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming to save your organization. It's you. You are the one that you've been waiting for. You can do this. Take your organization in your hands, be responsible for it, get the training that you need, get these grants written so that you can fund your organization because there are people waiting on your skills. There are people waiting on your services. The community is waiting for you to open up this nonprofit or this for-profit because it's needed. So you're the one that you've been waiting for. You've got to do this. It has to come from in here, right? There's got to be accountability in here. You got to invest in yourself. This is your organization, right? You've got to invest in yourself, but know that there are people waiting on your skill sets. There are people waiting for you to come and help the community in this way. But especially now, more so than ever, with what may be these significant cuts, you're going to want to be equipped with the knowledge to find free grant money more so than ever before. All right. All right. Let's see. Amber Grants charge is $15, people. It is one of the only organizations I know that will charge you for the grant application and it's $15. And the $15 covers all of their grants. Again, you have to be able to invest just a little bit of money in what you're doing, right? It's $15. And again, they're really the only ones I know that charge you for the grant application, but they charge because they're part of Women's Net. So they don't only just provide the grant funding, but they provide many other services for women, and it's $15. So you have to really think about the fact that you're going to have to invest something. Could be money, could be time to get to where you want to be. And I just don't think $15 is a lot, right? All right. Let's see. That's what I'm talking about. Kim says, I'm walking into 2025 winning. That's the mindset you need, regardless of what is going on in this country, right? You, you control this. You control this, right? You control getting the knowledge so that you place your organization in the best possible position, right? Right. All right. So I believe we're just about done. Funding for the fashion line again, there are that's arts and culture. So when you are researching your grants, look under arts and culture, right? But there are major design firms, designers, again, like Eileen Fisher, Tory Burch, they have grant programs. All right. Okay, someone is saying, Lisa's saying, I am planning an event and they are interested in paying for the swag, the catering. Also, they can sit a car outside. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That answers the question of the person earlier who didn't understand why a dealership would work with another for-profit and sponsor another for-profit. It's all about exposure, PR, PR. And that's exactly what happens, right? They sit their car right outside of the facility so everybody can swoon at the car. And if you were never even thinking about paying that kind of money for a car, you see this big, beautiful car sitting out there, you might think twice, right? It's all about exposure for them. It's a win-win situation. You get free money. You get free money, right? To let them come park their car outside of the facility where you're holding your event. All right. I have a children's nonprofit that supplies food, clothing, and school supplies and low educational programs. Which category other than education could I apply for? You are providing what's called basic needs. Basic needs so important, right? Because the basic needs category covers food, shelter, and clothing. I would probably say most nonprofits, not all nonprofit foundations, but most foundations provide grant money in that area. They're called the basic needs: food, shelter, clothing. You're providing all of those. So in addition to searching for organizations that provide grants to nonprofits that serve children. You're also going to look for foundations that provide grants or organizations that provide food and or clothing, right? So in addition to education, basic needs, food and clothing, right? Those are totally separate categories in education. So there's three right there for you. And again, as I mentioned, for all of you, you have multiple categories. All of you do. All right. All right. Right. Someone said they're having a fashion show. They can pay for the fashion show. Right. So let's say you have a Macy's, right? Let's say there's a Macy's. Macy's are huge sponsors, right? Because part of the work I do is in the fashion industry. Macy's, Nordstrom's, Saks Fifth Avenue, huge sponsors. So if you're a designer, you're a fashion designer, right? Let's say you're having an event where you are showcasing designers. Ask the fashion industry, ask the retail stores to sponsor your event, to sponsor your fashion show. This is why the course and coaching is important, because oftentimes it's hard to come up with this by yourself because this is not your wheelhouse, right? I've been doing this for 16 years, so it's not hard for me to hear your question and come up with ideas for you. That's the purpose of the course and coaching. All right. All right. We're going to wrap it up. Let me just see if there are any other questions. All right. Yeah, you are what you, he tells us that all the time. We are who we've been waiting for. We are who we've been waiting for. He may already have that on a shirt. What if you want to be an incubator for businesses? Yes, there's grant money. What do I do? What do I look under government contracting? I'm not sure what you're asking. What do I look under for government contracting business? What does that? I don't know what that means. What does that mean? I'm going to look for your information, Gisela, and send it to you. So explain what you mean by that. Government contracting business. Thank you. Okay, that's great. Lisa's dropping all kind of gems into the webinar chat. She says, Macy supports you. I create and sell t-shirts. They will let you come into their store and sell at 100% profit your items. All you need is business insurance. So that may be where you're located. Of course, contact your Macy's in your particular area to see if they can provide something similar. All right, let's see. I believe we're just about done. I'm starting up a jazz and blues cafe. That's the restaurant industry. Look for restaurant and food and beverage grants. There's one right now in Hello Alice. There's a food and beverage grant right now in Hello Alice. All right. Let's see. Okay, I am a government contractor for small business. I am the project manager. What type of grants do I research? What are you doing? I'm not sure what you mean when you say I'm a government contractor for a small business. So I'm not sure what that means. Does it mean you have a small business and you provide contracts for the government, right? Not sure exactly what that means. I'm starting up a hair care line. So that's health and beauty. So there is a Shea Moisture grant. I don't know if it closed. It opened in October. Find out whether or not it closed. Shea Moisture. And that L'Oreal grant reaches for any type of beauty product. That round 3 is coming up soon. So everybody look at your replay when you get it and go back to your slides and then you can grab some of this information. But hair care, that's health and beauty, right? And Amber grants for women, they have a grant that specializes that will specifically target women in the hair care industry coming up in August, I think it is, right? That's when the hair care industry specialty is for Amber grants for women, but you don't want to wait until then. Again, do the research. Do the research. All right. I find government contracts and match up small businesses to work and feel. So you have a small business and you find, so that's the service industry, right? So I would look for business and industry, right? So that's your category, business and industry as a woman-owned business. When you look into grantwatch.com, they're $20 a week. Search under business and industry. Or if you go, depending on what you buy, if you go to Grant Station, right? Look, you're going to check the box that says small business, right? You're looking for small business grants or grants for entrepreneurs under Grant Station. All right. So again, it doesn't matter what your field is. If you're doing something legal, you have to do the research, and the course will teach you how to do the research. All right. Those are, someone says they're teaching about DUI, DWI, overdose reversal. So that is the substance abuse. So grantwatch.com, substance abuse, right? Because you're dealing with those with substance abuse issues. So that's just one category. All right. I believe we are done. And oh, yes, I have to wrap it up. We're almost at the 2 hour mode here. All right. So I want to thank everybody for hopping on, because I know you could have been elsewhere at 7 o'clock tonight. So thank you so much for hopping on. I hope to see you all. I hope to see you all in the course over the next 3 days. You've got 3 days. I just want you to be in a place where you're ready to go in January, where you're ready to do the research and move forward. Whatever you do, move forward. Whatever you do, move forward. I would love for you to be able to buy the course, let me coach you, right? But whatever you do, whatever you decide to do, don't let this be it. Use this webinar to propel you forward, right? You've got to do something different than what you've been doing. You have to do something different than what you've been doing, because just from what I'm reading, most of you have not received grants, don't even know the category or where you should be looking or where you should be researching. You've got to do something different, right? Because we can't sit on the sidelines any longer. We have to get in the game, right? So again, I want to thank you for just hopping on. My name is Linda Peavy, and I am the creator of Grant Writing for Non-Writers, Keys Winning Grant Proposals, and the company LaPaul Consulting. Keep in mind, if you buy the course before Friday, you are going to get that free $99 artificial intelligence little mini training, just so that you can be introduced, because people, it's here. It's not coming, it's here, right? It's here. It's not coming. It is here, right? But before we go anywhere or do anything, we have to give some love to Ruby, because Ruby was like, wait a minute. Hold up, Kimberly. Hold up, Lisa. You're not leaving me behind. You are not leaving me behind. We got to give Ruby some love. I'll see you in the Facebook group, Ruby. So I want to see some clapping of hands and some hearts for Ruby. You are on your way. You are on your way. You're going to get a $5,000 course that you will have paid either $247 for, or the two payments of $137.50 that you're going to write off, by the way, that you're going to write off, right? I try to make it as easy as possible. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. Women's Institute, right? Self-worth, mental health, right? Depends on what other things you provide. You have to look at what other services you provide, Kim, and that will lead you as to where you need to search. All right. So I want to thank all of you again for hopping on. Remember, you'll get the free mini training, and whatever you do, don't let this be it. Don't let me hear from you a month from now and you're looking around saying you thought you heard about some grants somewhere, right? When you could be in a community where you're supported and you're researching and you're writing, you're getting this grant money, and you cannot ask enough questions in the Facebook group. You get the support. And even the way the course is built, as you're going through the lessons, there's something called a discussion starter. You click on the discussion starter and you ask the question, it comes directly to me, and I will answer that for you. All right. So again, I want to thank you all. Hopefully, I will see all of you in the Facebook group. For those of you who are buying, when you come into the group, I'm going to ask you a question to help you immediately because I just want you to be ready. I want you to have as much information as you possibly can so that you can get this money, right? Oh, let's see. Somebody is having problems signing up. Excuse me. Do you have the code? The code is in the chat. So if you're buying the one payment, right? You're buying the one payment plan, DEC17P like Paul, right? If you're buying the two payment plan, it's DEC17P like Paul and the number 2. So there's two different codes depending upon the payment plan, right? Two different codes depending upon the payment plan. And let me see if I can quickly go back and let me share my screen really quickly. Let me just make sure. All right. I'm going to share my screen again. And so just look at what I am providing here. All right. So I think this is it. So let me go back. So if you're buying the one plan for $247, you hit purchase now. You come to this page here, you have to hit have a coupon. DEC17P. You hit apply. It will take off the $250. You decide whether or not you want to add the one-on-one VIP training. You can add that. Then you have to sign up. You have to at least give your email. And you hit save and continue. And then you hit another way to pay. This is for the one payment, right? You will have a buy now, pay later. Or another way to pay, then hit new payment, and you have all these options. I'm literally doing this live. You have all these options, right? Cash App Pay, Affirm. Remember, Affirm, Klarna, and Afterpay gives you 6 months, same as cash. You want to make the two payments? Hit the two payment plan, purchase now. But when you enter this code, you have to put a 2 on the back of it, DEC17P and the number 2. You hit apply, it will take off 50%. And then you keep going and putting your email address, and then you can pay with a credit card or with the bank statement. All right, let's hit save and continue. Pay another way. New payment. Now you can use credit card, bank, or Google Pay. Even with the two payment plan, you can use Google Pay or the bank or the credit card. All right. So hopefully that answered the last of those questions. All right. So the code is working. All right. The code is working. DEC17P, the number 2, all lowercase. All right. All lowercase. And let me just make absolutely sure that the code is in here. One moment. Let me just make absolutely sure. The code should be working. Let me make sure. Let me make sure. You never know with technology. So let me just make sure that code is right, and then we're going to wrap it up. All right, let's see here. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. Let me just make sure that this code is in here. All right. Let's make sure. Let's make sure. Yes, the code is working. The code is definitely working. All right. So I would just try again, or send me an email. Just send me an email and we'll help you through it. All right. All right. So thank you all so much. Again, I appreciate you very much. And hopefully I will see you. And this is the holiday season. So whatever you do, please, as you move through, have a safe and a peaceful and a blessed holiday season. Have a safe and a peaceful and a blessed holiday season. Right? Oh, yay. I believe Kimberly, right. The other Kimberly. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Got through. All right, excellent. Have a peaceful and a safe holiday season. This is important. All right. You have time to decompress a bit and get ready. Like get ready to transform your organization starting January, like these ladies did, because they're getting ready to transform their business. And I'm getting ready to help them do it. All right. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. And you've got the 3 days. You'll get the code over the course of the 3 days. Look late tonight for the replay. And then for the next 3 days, you'll get an email with the code so that those of you can still sign up and you'll get the link over the next 3 days. All right. All right. Thank you so much. And be safe, be blessed, and have an absolutely beautiful holiday season. All right. Thanks. Bye bye.